Hello, criminal defense attorneys and anybody else interested in criminal justice and criminal justice reform. This is James Fifelski coming to you from the Master Lawyer Academy. It is January 10th, and I've been thinking a lot about what are some of the key problems that the justice system faces today. Some of the key issues that especially we defense attorneys have to begin to recognize and overcome in order to bring about true and lasting criminal justice reform. And I often come back to one key problem, which I believe is the law of familiarity. The law of familiarity is what psychologists and sociologists talk about as a growing sense of apathy the more we become familiar with someone or something or some process. So take for example, you go out on a date, you find a pretty lady or a handsome young man, and you're full of emotion, you're full of excitement. You go on that first date, things are great. You start to date regularly. Maybe you get married and you live together. A year or 2 or 3 years go by. All of a sudden, you have become more familiar and you know that person so well that it's almost as though all of the positive emotions and the awareness and the consciousness and the deliberate actions that you took early in your relationship have somehow dissipated with time. And it's basically because our brains are designed to conserve energy. So the more we do something, and while initially it may take a lot of brain activity, a lot of brain power to learn a new skill, for example, or engage in a new relationship with someone, the longer we do it, our brain basically wants to conserve energy, so it starts to create certain autopilot functions, if you will. So in that relationship, the longer we're with that one person, the more our brain goes to autopilot on certain aspects of that relationship, and the more familiar we become, and therefore the less conscious or deliberate we are with that person. The same is true in the criminal justice system. I've seen, after 20 years in the practice, time and time again, and I fall prey to it myself, so I have to constantly remind myself not to fall prey to the law of familiarity. But in the criminal justice system, it happens far too often and far too easily when there are so many people charged with crimes going through the criminal justice system, so many people going through even a single morning docket in the criminal case call, that these people's individualism and humanity and their past or their life story is lost because of this autopilot that the brains or the minds of judges, prosecutors, and even us defense attorneys will go to after we've been handling criminal cases for, let's say, a couple of years. Put it at 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. The longer you do the same thing, the more automatic your reactions are or your thoughts are, and the less deliberate they become, because your brain wants to conserve energy. So if you see a particular case fact pattern that's similar to one that you've handled in the past, you'll automatically want to go to how you dealt with that before. Use some of the methodology that you used in handling a previous case that was similar. Excuse me. Judges, prosecutors, defense attorneys, we all do the same thing. Because again, wired into our brains is this desire to conserve energy. So when we're dealing with case after case after case after case in a single docket, it's far too easy for those individual defendants, the accused, to become case numbers. You know, there's a reason why we call it the cattle call. It's a terrible phrase, but it's as though every single person who's charged with a crime is no different than a herd of cattle being shepherded into a truck to go to the slaughterhouse. Again, these are terrible images, but maybe it's one way to wake us up, especially as defense attorneys who have the primary mission of protecting those who are accused of crimes. Not only protecting the innocent from being wrongfully convicted, but protecting the humanity of each person accused of a crime, because they are individuals. And everybody is so unique and different. Everybody's upbringing can contribute to a better sense of justice when they face a particular charge in the legal system. And isn't our Constitution set up to protect individuals and not just the legal processes? You see, I think one of the problems with the way that the law of familiarity as a principle undermines justice in our criminal justice system for us attorneys is that we often focus more on maintaining the integrity of the legal system made up of the court rules, the statutes, the case law, the rules of criminal procedure or civil procedure in civil cases, sentencing guidelines. Whether you're a judge, a prosecutor, or a defense attorney, we so often believe that if we can become an expert at understanding the various rules and laws and regulations of the criminal court system and of harnessing those, then that is what makes us an expert or a master lawyer. But we forget in the midst of that process that the criminal court system is actually made for the people involved. It's not made to perpetuate a set of laws and statutes and regulations. But again, I think because our brains are wired to try to conserve energy and to try to seek the easiest way through something, it's far easier for us to look at the legal system and our role in that as defense attorneys as protecting someone within these various structures. So the better we understand the structures, the better we can protect our clients. But again, after 20 years in the criminal justice system, fighting for clients' rights, I have found that what works best at breaking apart the power of the law of familiarity is to focus on the humanity and the uniqueness of each and every one of my clients, of being what I call client-centric, by focusing more on my client's life story, by getting involved in that life story as part of this time on earth that I have, which is limited, and as with you and as with every one of our clients, we only have so many years on this earth. Each one of those years and months and days is precious in the sense that it's limited. So what better way to make a difference in the world if you're a defense attorney, or if you're an attorney and you think about wanting to do more in the justice system, think about being a criminal defense attorney, because you can get involved in the life story of your clients and make a difference by breaking whatever bondage they're in. Maybe it's a drug addiction, an alcohol addiction, a sex addiction. Maybe it's some other mental health problem that they've been avoiding getting treatment or help with. So instead of allowing the law of familiarity to train our minds only to look at the rules and statutes and procedures of the criminal justice system and to put those as somehow taking priority over our clients, let's flip that script and make our clients the priority by getting into their life story, by focusing on what their challenges and struggles and needs are, those things that may have brought them into the criminal justice system, rightly or wrongly, and then find the best way to protect their innocence or even their presumption of innocence over and above somehow expertly navigating the statutes, court rules, and case law. I'm not saying in any way that statutes, court rules, case law, rules of evidence are not important, because they are. They're vital in achieving the outcomes that we want for our clients, but they're not the priority. Using them as tools is important. Putting them in a proper place is vital. But making our clients the priority, their life story, their future, providing some hope, providing some sense that our clients can have a better life than they have right now. Whether it's a charge for DUI or domestic violence or even homicide or armed robbery. Whatever the case, that person's life, our clients' lives, that they experience each and every day, when it intersects with our life as criminal defense attorneys, there's a magic in really connecting with our clients and overcoming the law of familiarity, the cattle call, the simple process that our clients become just another case number in the judge's court files. We can overcome that by really focusing on our clients, their story, and their future, and helping them to navigate through the dangerous waters of the criminal justice system. And I believe by doing so, and I've seen this in my own practice, when I really began to understand the power of being client-centric and of entering into my clients' life stories, of linking arms with my clients, so to speak, to guide them through the criminal justice system. When I am an attorney and I see judge and prosecutor on a regular basis, they begin to trust me, I begin to trust them. When I say something on behalf of my client, when it's filled with emotion and concern and care and actual empathy or compassion for my clients, then the prosecutor and the judge will listen much more carefully, because I have taken the time to understand who my client is, what his challenges are, what they have been, what issues maybe he's experienced in the past, and bring all of that to bear on the desire to help my client become a better person through the criminal justice system in order to have hope for a better future. And that's exactly what most prosecutors and judges want. At least that's what most judges want. And so if you can preemptively help a judge understand that your client, yes, has a history, and it may include prior convictions, it may include drug or alcohol use, it may include other types of crimes or wrongdoing or problems, but that your client wants to do better and is in the process of doing better, and with your help will do better, judges will have a whole different view about your client and what true justice is in that particular situation. But filling your advocacy in the courtroom, or even when you talk to prosecutors, with that sense of emotional connection for your clients is being more client-centric. It's a part of that process, and I believe that is a key method of breaking the law of familiarity and its hold on the criminal justice system, which today in the US and around the world, I'm sure, is such a major problem, especially when the numbers of people being thrown into the criminal justice system is so high that those sheer numbers create problems, especially for judges who have to maintain docket control. We can make their job easier and obtain more just outcomes for our clients when we take the first step in breaking the law of familiarity and its hold on the criminal justice system. And I'll say one more thing about that. I think judges actually appreciate it when we speak with emotion and real concern and connection about our clients when we're advocating for them in court. Because they get tired of just dealing with case after case after case after case. They get tired of just applying sentencing guideline after guideline after guideline without any real sense of who the person is. But it's up to us, criminal defense attorneys, whether we're retained or court appointed or public defenders, to bring out the factors that matter most about each and every one of our individual clients so that they don't get lost in the crowd of people accused of crimes, especially when it's a crime that you see a lot of charges on, like DUIs or domestic violence, domestic assault. It is vital to differentiate our clients, and when we do so by really becoming client-centric, then I think that's how we're going to break the stronghold that the law of familiarity has on the criminal justice system, And I think that's also how we're going to make our practices more successful, because people come to find out about attorneys that really care about their clients instead of just making money or the bottom line or being as efficient as possible to close that file and get on to the next to make another, another $100 or so. So don't sell yourself short as an attorney. You can do so much more for your clients, and I want to encourage you to think about this law of familiarity, to think about whether this is something that you see in the court system in which you practice, whether it's something you may have fallen prey to, like I have, and like I have to continue to remind myself not to be overcome by it, and whether being client-centric in your practice, really focusing on getting to know and connect with your client, can make a difference and begin to break the stronghold of the law of familiarity, so that we can have a more humane and just criminal justice system. If you like this video, please hit the like button or share it with somebody else who you think it may help. I hope it helps you, and let's go keep fighting for justice.